Hi, Miranda.
Hey, how are you?
Good. How are you?
Good. Is this Kathleen?
Yes. So
Okay,
I'm
video
about.
right now.
I actually am about to pack because I'm leaving for Morocco. Hi, Miranda. But I wanted to
Hey,
say
how are
hello.
you?
Good. How are you? Oh, my YouTube
Good.
is
Is this
playing this
Kathleen?
back in real time.
So, okay.
I'm about. Okay, there we go. Anyway, I just want to say hi, but I'm about to mute my microphone. But Ben and Ryan should be along shortly.
Okay, great. What time is your flight tomorrow?
It's in the late afternoon, so not too bad, but I still have a lot of work to do before I leave.
Yeah, I can tell from the emails. I'm getting like, oh my gosh, she's like flying out tomorrow and she's already, so.
I'm like sending a million emails to you guys. I'm sorry.
No, not a worries at all. I know that you have a lot on your plate, so I'm impressed that you can, pack it all in. So.
All right. Well, this webinar is good, and I will talk to you soon.
Yes. All the best. See you Sunday. Hello.
Hi.
Hi, Miranda. Hi.
Hi, I'm Isabel.
Hi, Isabel. Are you going to be in Morocco with us this summer?
No, I'm going to be in Indonesia.
Oh, very cool. For 6 weeks?
Yep.
Very, very cool.
Yep.
Are you also leaving this
I lied.
Sunday?
I'm back. Hi, guys. It's Kathleen.
Hello.
Hi.
Grace and Isabel. So, Miranda, I heard you just introduce yourself. Grace and Isabel are going to be in Indonesia. And there's Samantha. Hi, Samantha.
Hi.
How are you? Ben is going to be along shortly. And there's Aubrey. Hi, Aubrey. Ben is going to be along shortly. And as will Ryan, who's going to present. So it should be really good. I was just telling Miranda, I'm leaving for Morocco tomorrow, so I'm going to go pack my stuff, which I haven't done yet. But I will be here in case anyone has technical difficulties or something. So I hope you enjoy it. It should be really good. And I will talk to you all later.
Thank you.
Bye. Nice walk. You should put some water. You don't even taste it. Yeah. There you go. Oh, do you want a frozen treat?
Can you please be quiet? I can't say anything.
Are you guys all going to Indonesia?
I'm going to Indonesia.
Cool. Me too.
I'm going to Morocco with Samantha.
Hey guys,
Hi.
Hello.
how's everybody doing?
Good. How are you?
Good. Okay, we had a little bit of a technical difficulty, but I think we're okay now. Ryan should be joining in a sec. And we've got one spot for him. Hey Ryan,
Hey,
how you doing? Sorry about that.
no problem.
Are you okay on, does everybody have a PowerPoint? Good. So without further ado, let me introduce Ryan, who I'm happy to count as an old friend of mine.
Yeah.
And Ryan's had this great career, which started off doing Hollywood film editing, working on some major motion pictures and television shows. And since then, he has taken on a life of a social entrepreneur and environmental activist, and has done a lot of really interesting things. And one of the cool things to watch is how Ryan has used his different film editing skills and storytelling skills to advocate for all these different causes, ranging from Burning Man to displaced people in El Salvador, to the environmental focus that he has today. So I'm really excited that Ryan is going to spend some time with us and talk about storytelling through video and photography. And before he gets started, I wanted you guys to each introduce yourself, say who you are and where you're from, where you go to school, and what you're going to be doing this summer as an unofficial ambassador. And if we can just go down the line, Aubrey, and we'll start with you, and we'll just work our way across. Thanks. Aubrey, I think you might be muted. Aubrey, we still can't hear you. How about now? All right, Grace, why don't we start with you, and Aubrey will come back to you.
All right, I'm Grace. I'm from New Jersey, and I go to school at Washington College. I just finished my freshman year, and I will be in Indonesia this summer, working at the all-girls school in Yogyakarta.
Great, thank you. Okay, Isabel. Isabel, are you frozen?
So it's frozen.
Okay.
Or very chill. Very chill.
Okay, Mandy, go ahead.
Hi. Hi, Miranda. I just graduated from high school, so I will be a freshman in college, but I'm taking a gap year first before I do that. And I will be in Morocco this summer, interning in Ifran at the Zarina Youth Center at a children's summer day camp. I'm excited to do that.
Great. Paula, go ahead.
My name is Paula Mora. I live in New York City, and I go to the University of Delaware. I just got back from my junior year, and I have yet to receive my placement from Kathleen about Indonesia this summer.
Good. That was going to happen imminently. Sammy?
I don't think my sound works.
Yes, it does.
Here you go.
This is our
that's
first.
Okay. My name's Sammy, and I'm a junior at McDaniel College. I'm a French and Political Science double major. I'm from Seattle, and I'll be working at Green Site Development Foundation in Morocco.
Okay, let's do one more lap around and see if we can get Aubrey and Isabel. Sorry, Aubrey. Why don't you type in the chat box a little introduction about yourself. Isabel, are you with us now?
It looks like Samantha typed in stuff on the side too, so that works.
Okay. Ryan, the floor is yours. Thank you again.
Yeah. Great. Thank you, Ben. Obviously, you run an amazing organization, and apparently you attract really amazing people as well. So thanks for sharing your stories and where you're going. So we, in this amount of time, I really would just want to act in service to you guys, in service of sort of what you're doing. We have this deck, and we can sort of go through that, and it has a bunch of examples. But I'll just give you sort of the skinny on who I am and sort of like my approach towards media and sort of what's the big picture on this whole thing. So when I was in college, I don't know, my abroad program was semester at sea. So I went to 10 countries in 100 days, and that was a great sort of like buffet platter of the world. And I've been sort of involved in, to some degree, international things ever since. I found myself in Los Angeles, and I became a professional filmmaker. And I worked on Weeds, Californication, like 6 feature films, documentaries, feature documentaries. I sort of traveled and lived the life, and that was fantastic. I decided to sort of change what I was doing because I wanted to have a little bit more what I felt like was like sort of control over my jobs and my life. And so I moved to where I talk to you from right now, from San Francisco. I attended this amazing green MBA program called Presidio, and that really, I was like, oh, I'm going to become like a business person, whatever that means, and leave all this filmmaking stuff behind. But the filmmaking fundamentals have proven to be sort of integral to everything I do, which I can tell you about in a second. And then after I graduated from my MBA program 4 years ago, I now work in renewable energy. I work for an amazing nonprofit funded by the Navy and Department of Energy. It's based in Hawaii called Energy Accelerator, and we're a business incubator, and we're sort of the best of what we do in terms of funding young startups in terms of renewable energy, water, transportation, agriculture, food, a whole panoply of interesting companies. My job with Energy Accelerator, doing this great impactful work, is I do all of our external communications, and just to bring it back around, basically my job is storytelling. So telling the story of what we do at Energy Accelerator, telling the story of the portfolio companies that we have, which now numbers 42. And so, like, we're working on a video. We had our big sort of demo day event here a couple weeks ago. Now I'm working with a filmmaker to edit that, to tell our story. We'll leverage that throughout the whole year. And write articles, talk to journalists, so on and so forth. So this sort of mass communications multimedia beat is still very much alive. And so I think what you can look to, you're going to go on these trips, have these amazing experiences. You're probably asking yourself, well, amongst a million other questions, how do I remember this? How do I keep this organized in my mind? How do I capture the essence of this? And then probably how do you leverage this incredible opportunity? I'm sure you feel what a great sort of privilege it is. How do you leverage this so other people can take advantage of that? And so that's sort of like the filmmaking and media part of it. I'm here to sort of give you like the 101 on media and filmmaking. Let me ask Ben real quick. This is like I've done this for the last 2-3 years. And Ben, I usually focus just on filmmaking and sometimes long-form filmmaking, but obviously there's really short videos like Vine videos and even just writing that a person can do. What have you seen sort of be the most interesting or successful media to come out of the projects? So these people, this current sort of class has a model to work from.
Yeah, I think it's a great question, and I deliberately didn't frame it, but since you're asking me to, I will. 2 different kinds of products. One is a couple of our folks are on the call are going to Indonesia, and a few years ago we had a group of unofficial ambassadors put together, I think it was 3 5-minute short documentaries about, I guess maybe 5 to 7 minutes, some of them were a little bit longer, about the work of this religious tolerance organization that we partner with there. And the organization was able to use those short documentaries to explain their work in a really effective way. And so, to one degree, it was creating those kinds of longer PSAs as a tool for an advocacy NGO that is working on religious tolerance and trying to communicate their message to a number of different audiences. And then the other thing I've seen people do that's been really effective is create tools that are a little bit more personalized rather than geared towards the NGO where they're working, that they use as a way to explain their own experiences to domestic audiences here in the United States. As part of our mission of building mutual understanding in the United States, those have taken the form of like short interviews where people have just explained what it is that they do in their NGO, or that they've been well put together still shots and short videos that kind of take you to the place where they were, and they use it as like a presentation starter to show at the beginning, or maybe sometimes at the end, where they help their audience to visualize things that they're just hard to describe. So those 2 different kinds of things.
Yeah, great. That's good to know. And so this is going to be, again, I'm in service of you guys. So this is like a dialogue. So what I'd like to do the most is just answer questions. So I might pick on people if you're sitting active or not active. But I'd like to maybe just hear from a couple people, because we can go into the mechanics when we talk about it, but the truth is that there's so many ways that are so easy to create media. I think this is the best time ever to be going on a trip and wanting to capture it. So I'd love to hear like what thoughts are from people, if this is just like a general, like I don't know what I'm doing, or like I know I want to do like a long documentary. It seems like, unless there's like a specific purpose, just do stuff. Like, just fucking do it, basically. Like, take a bunch of photos, use an app like Magisto, or even like iMovie on the iPhone, and it basically just takes a bunch of photos and a bunch of video and just kind of like randomly puts it together, and like boom, you have a video, and it's great because you don't have to sort of spend so much mental time thinking about the end product. You can just have something and share it. Probably a lot of this is just like tell your parents and your friends what you're doing in Indonesia or wherever. And so we could talk about some like tools, but who's this? This is Paula.
Yeah, Paula.
Just because you're sort of popping up on my screen, tell me like why is media even interesting to you? What do you want to do with it?
I mean, obviously, like, we're all in this age where we're posting on Instagram and Facebook all the time, and I really think it's the most effective way to communicate with people. I personally love watching documentaries, and like it seems to be one of the best ways to learn, at least for me. Like, even when it comes to studying for school and exams, like, oh, like, how do you do this? I'll look it up on YouTube. And it just like seems as though that's the best means of communication in this world right now. So.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Who's that? Mandy, I see you cheering. This is the best time. Tell me, like, what what do you do? Like, or why is media interesting to you? Why did you take the time to attend this?
I really want to learn how I can use media to tell more about my experiences more effectively. I do enjoy writing, but I've never really, when it comes to making movies and working with, technical stuff in terms of, making that production, I really kind of shy away from that and don't know a lot about it, but I would love to learn more about how I can tell my story and get people interested in what I did so that maybe they'll be inspired to do it, because like Paula mentioned before, that like writing long articles, people's attention isn't going to be on that as long as if I had like an Instagram post or a quick like YouTube video. So,
yeah. Samantha, same question to you. Why is this interesting? What do you see the purpose of media for your trip?
I see the purpose of media as like a way to like convey to like people who are probably unfamiliar with like say like Morocco and like what they're doing there. Just so like as a I don't want to say like a cheap, but it's like a really easy way to like connect with people, because people, you go through your feed and you see like little sound bits, little like 5-second videos, and it's like, how do you capture someone's attention better than like for them like what's most like instantly amazing? And it's like I've like in my previous project in the forest online, that's like effectively what I was doing. And so I've like kind of like dealt with like media and like making videos and like making the Instagram posts, making the Snapchats, that sort of thing, to like open up other people to like somewhere that they're unfamiliar with. So
yeah, great. Yeah, so I think that's kind of what I expected. Is basically taking advantage of this amazing opportunity and taking it beyond your personal world, helping you communicate. So I kind of like want to like scribble this out, but I'll just sort of say it. I feel like there's like basically like a scale of like media and what the activation energy is to do it, right? Like anything from like Twitter is the easiest thing to like making a fully edited bells and whistles video on Final Cut Pro or whatever, or Adobe Premiere like on the top end. Like in there, and I'll just like say this, and like maybe these names are familiar to you, but I can send this out. Like the easiest thing to do is do obviously like Facebook, Instagram post, and that's incredibly valuable, right? Everyone knows that stuff. Vine, everyone knows Vine, like little 6-second videos. But in some of the examples that are on the deck, like that's all you need is like just get like the sight and sound of a place, and that really communicates a lot. Like what do people look like? Then moving out from that, I mentioned like Magisto, which you have to pay for a subscription, but basically you just like of all your media on your phone, you say, yeah, all these photos and all this video, bloop, 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 put it together, pick a theme, you get a video. Super easy. And you could basically do that as like a daily journal or a weekly journal. It basically like takes 2 seconds. But it's smart, it like puts it together. People think that you kind of worked your butt off to do it, but you didn't, so that's great. Moving out from there, I think then you're kind of getting into like proper editing, which is using, I would probably use Adobe Premiere or Final Cut. Probably some of those things are familiar. Like they're actually really easy and visual intuitive, but learning a new thing is like a whole new thing. So it takes more activation energy. That being said, there's sort of like just some fundamentals of just like storytelling and photography that everyone should know. Like, and so we'll flip through the deck a little bit, but like if you're trying to tell a story or trying to take a picture and you don't know about the rule of thirds, and you just need to like, you learn the rule of thirds for photography or video, you use that every time you take a photo the rest of your life. That is just like good form.
I have a question about that.
Yeah, go on.
Are there any like I'm really familiar with like the rule of thirds.
Yeah.
But are there like I find myself getting really bored just like following that. So are there any other techniques to like, make aesthetically pleasing photos, but like not using that all the time, I guess?
Yes. So I'm gonna flip really quickly through the deck because we basically do that in 10 minutes. That'll like bring up. Basically, what I did is try to like pack it with just like a bunch of links and whatever sort of sparks your interest. You can go into a little bit deeper. So there are some resources in there. You guys have it, but I guess I'll kind of share my screen because that's like then you can just look at it while I go. Just one sec. Okay. Can you tell me if you guys see this?
Yeah. Thanks.
It just says video 101.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Full screen. Great. Great. Video 101. Fun, crazy, effective. Me. Y video. I'm not going to play these, but I'll just sort of tell you what they are so you can check them out later. This is a video, a great example of someone that was also from AUA. They went on this trip and they made this spectacular 2-minute and 50-second video about, I want to say, well, it's Yogyakarta. Is that in Indonesia, Ben? I don't know. But I would totally just...
I was muted. I was trying to save you. It's Jakarta.
Where is that?
It's in Indonesia. It's like it's about an hour long flight from Jakarta.
Right.
It's in the island of Java.
Right. Well, so although I couldn't remember where it was, I feel like I've been there because I've watched this video and it's incredibly evocative. What it does is it basically just starts with just, like you listen to a great like NPR piece, and like they just take a moment where you just kind of listen to the sounds, like they're in like a factory, they're in a street, and they just play it, and you can be there. That's amazing. That's a great technique. Technically, that's called biophony, which is the sound of a place. So to go back and check out that video, it's awesome. Definition of story. I'm going to jump through this really quick. This is worth mentioning, although it seems easy. Storytelling, beginning, middle, and end. Three-act structure. So that seems like a no duh, but it actually helps to organize. So you're going to tell a story. You're going to introduce where you are or who your subject is. You're going to do the content, and you're going to wrap it up. It's actually very, very clarifying. It lowers, again, the activation energy just to have that sort of out there. There's a couple other tips here. This last one's interesting. Set an expectation, knock it down, or start with a question. You're like, hi, so I've now been in Indonesia for 2 weeks, and when I came here, I thought that it was like this. Is it? And then go into that. So like sort of set something up and knock it down. Pose a question so people sort of hang on the answer. Mechanics, objective, angle, write a script, shoot it, edit, get feedback. That's for more of like a longer piece, but there you go. I'm going to skip through them. Assuming that you guys are going to do interviews with host families, people you meet, total randoms. There's a great video we'll watch, or that you can reference, that Ben did with some school children. That's just like a classic. Just shoot, keep it rolling, because you never know what people are going to say when that's sort of the before, like after you would press stop. That's kind of when the interesting stuff happens. So sort of expect the unexpected and embrace that. And shoot people really uncomfortably close. It's much more engaging to see like the whites of the eyes, like to be up in someone's grill, basically. Just like maybe you're a apprehensive like bit of a noob filmmaker, but just get in there. and get the camera close. This is the rule of thirds. And so Samantha and others, if you know this, apologies, but it's like everyone's got to know this. Basically, the frame is divided up into thirds. So like imagine left, right, there's divided thirds, top, bottom, thirds. You want to put your subject on one of those lines, right, or even better, at the intersection of two of those lines. So the magic of taking a good photograph. Look at like sort of every great photograph you like, and imagine where these lines would be, these overlays, and they're probably there. There's a link here about other rules. So Samantha, if you want to go a little bit deeper about other, this is like 10 top photography composition rules, you should jump into that. More examples. This is another one from AUA, which is great. This has a lot of stills, which is totally fine. Another great example. This is the one. This is the one you shot with kids, I think. Yeah, this is really cute and awesome. These are some things that I've made, so you can check these out. These are other resources. On the left is basically like 101 choosing a camera. This is kind of like fundamentals. It's probably outdated, but there might be something interesting there. And the other thing is,
Ryan, can I interject for 1 sec?
Please, yeah.
Going back to the videos that you made, since you're the professional, do you think that we could watch one and you could talk us through why you did it the way you did, or what you think was effective about it? I think that would be pretty cool to hear you talk about it, in that way, like we see it and then get the backstory of what you were trying to accomplish with it.
Yeah, that's great. Does that sound good, everyone? I assume yes.
Yeah.
So I think we'll check out this one. So this was a PSA we did. It was like sponsored by a company, but it was still for a good cause. And hopefully this plays. I'll just kind of let it roll. It's pretty short, and then we'll talk about it afterwards.
There's so much that we need to share. So send a smile and show that you care. I gave a little bit. I gave a little bit of my life for you. So give a little bit. Or give a little bit of your time to me.
Aramark Building Community. Together, we're making a difference.
We need to share. So find yourself. We're on our way.
Well, I assume everyone can see that. Hold on. Oh, hold on 1 second. Talk amongst yourselves. Sorry, 1 second. Okay, sorry about that. My delivery. Paula.
Yeah.
I'm gonna keep on picking on you.
Okay.
What'd you think of the video?
I really liked it. I liked like the use of the way that you had the cardboard and the different statements written on them, and also obviously like the music adds some emotion to it. So again, I feel like videos are like just the best way to capture someone's attention, and like I liked like the way that you told the story. At first, it was like the situation was sad, and then everyone kind of came together to work together to build the community, and you could do that. So
Yeah.
like you could see that happening throughout the story, and then at the end, like was basically what the message was, which was promoting this company or whatever, or nonprofit, what it was.
Right. Cool. Any other like reactions, comments, things that made you think of race?
I don't know. I have to agree with Paula. I liked the use of like the cardboard. I think that like really emphasized like the message that you were trying to like give. I don't know. I also liked I liked the music added to that. I don't know. I think that was important to like have like that kind of like audio to like towards that. I don't know how to do that, but that was pretty cool.
Right.
Oh, sorry.
Go on.
I was just gonna say also like the rawness of the people that you filmed. I don't know. I think that's like something very important while communicating something like that. I don't know. I imagine like the videos I take in Indonesia to do like the same thing, like really try to get just like into these people's eyes, and like you can really tell what they're feeling.
Yeah.
That's really important.
Yeah, totally. Like you can't, and you don't even know these people. Like they're just like images on the screen, but like because you can see them so clearly, like you're immediately empathetic. I mean, that's just like you like their humanity shows through, and like you care. That is a win. The good music is nice too. Like the cardboard stuff, like the cardboard thing. It's like it's been done many times, or just the signs, but. You know, if you're thinking of like, God, like, you know, how am I gonna like make a video? Like, just do that. Like, that's like a really effective format. Maybe, yeah, just something to think about. There's a couple things in the video that I like too. Is like, it's kind of like a music video. Basically, there's no words, just pictures. It's kind of cut to the beat. You know, it's like do 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 do. And then like basically on like the drum beats there it like cuts, and so it like has like a rhythm. That's kind of like that's a little bit like 201. That's like next level, but it's good just to know so like what is behind something that you like, because like there are like sort of like formulas and structures to it. Have you,
Ryan, something like a video like that?
Yeah.
It's obviously pretty scripted, or very much scripted. Can you speak a little bit to that process? I mean, you have that T chart here on the mechanics slide of say and see, and so to what degree, like when you're making something like that, do you have every second, you know, scripted in terms of, all right, we're gonna have a close up of guy with incredible sideburns and craggy face, and then we're gonna move on to this and that. And how much of it is you're just sort of you letting it, you know, flow to the next thing?
Yeah. So I'll just pop that up real quick. So the thing that Ben is referencing is this little T-shaped situation right here, which is kind of like if you're thinking of like what a script is. This is like basically the fundamentals of it. And so it's like there's two elements to a video. There's the audio and the video, and so sometimes they're the same, they're synced, and sometimes they're different, you know. And so this is, so if you think about like how you have a story you want to tell, like I love teaching about video, then like that's the voiceover. I'm either going to say that it's diegetic, or it's going to be like voiceover, non-diegetic, and that's going to be, and I need an image to match that. And so, and the next thing is it's powerful to communicate video. Then there's me watching cat videos. So like making a joke here because I'm talking about powerful communication. Then I'm seeing me watching cat videos. And so that is like, that's an example of like having audio and video that don't match in an intentional way that sort of make a joke, but obviously that might not be, you might not want to make a joke, this might be serious, but comedy is a great way to sort of express things as well. You're thinking about scripting, you're thinking about the story you want to tell, like this sort of like T-shaped chart is pretty basic, and you can say, my story is, I arrived in the country, and then I went to this house I've never been to, and I slept in this, room which was, now is like so familiar to me, but at the time seemed really foreign, and these people that I had never laid eyes on, I now consider like brothers and sisters, and so, if that's the story, write that all out like you would do in a journal, and then think about what the images are to match, and then just shoot those. I'd say sort of let serendipity be your guide, and don't try to script it because that's sort of impossible anyway. So just think about like just like little bits that you want to fill in. So like I slept in the bed that now is like normal to me, but so you're obviously going to show that. That's like a say dog, see dog kind of like obvious thing. But then you can do sort of things that don't match expectations and are more unexpected. Does that make sense?
Yeah, so if you, like, going back to the question you asked me, if you were going to have like a 5 to 7 minute PSA, I mean, that was probably like a 30, 45-second video.
Yeah.
Like, how much time would you devote to, like, what would be your process for writing that script, or how much time would you devote to creating something like that? I mean, it seems like a pretty significantly sized project.
Yeah, it kind of depends on, so the videos that are referenced here in the deck, some are really in-depth, and it's basically like a report. Like, this is an organization, here's their mission, here's their executive director, here's their examples of like work in the field, and that's like a very like kind of like straightforward, I'm going to capture this place, organization, and work. And so that's going to take, a week or so, like sit there, drink coffee, kind of like script it out, think about what your story is, and then think about the chunks that you need to get, and then sort of go into production and start to capture those elements. So it kind of depends. Like that's probably one of the more ambitious things that you do. Or I'm going to try to interview a government official, or I'm going to talk to people here and see what their perceptions of America is. Or like you say the word Donald Trump and you just have people react to it in a bunch of different things. There's a bunch of different formats, but I would sort of like think about what is like your big concept, and then sort of go from there. It could take anywhere from no time to like a couple weeks, depending what your objective is. I like questions. Give me more questions. Or direction.
I have a question.
Oh, you're my new best friend, so thank you.
So like obviously like living in New York City, I like see the craziest like things all the time, and like you just want to take a picture, but I always like resist because you don't know how the person's gonna react. And I was just wondering like how, if I'm while abroad, like how to go about kind of just like filming people. Like, do you ask them if it's okay, like, or do you just do it and just hope for the best? Like,
you should never ask and then run away awkwardly while they chase you in the street.
Okay, that's what I figured. And also like.
Yeah. If it's, like obviously the larger purpose here is to be an ambassador, and so you always ask first. It's really rare that people say no, and that's how you start the conversation. Or actually, that's probably you say like, "Hi, blah 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 blah. Like, I'm a normal, sane person, and would you mind if I filmed you because I'm making a student video or whatever it is?" So, just ask.
Yeah. Right.
Have you done that before, or been in a situation where you got rejected?
No, I guess I just like haven't really like thought. I mean, not that I haven't thought to ask, but I just like figured the answer would be no, so I just like went on with my day. But
right.
yeah, I mean, I plan to like do a lot of like shooting a lot of people in Indonesia, so I wasn't really sure how to go about
Yeah.
approaching people on the street, especially like when you kind of just like want to get like a raw image of them, of maybe them just sitting, and like how long do you record them for without it like taking up too much of their time and without it being like weird. I don't know. It's like stuff like that.
Yeah, there's a bit of like a conflict because if you just want to, not mess with your observer effect and you just like want to capture life,
Yeah.
and just kind of shoot. You know, like if you go and ask people, then you affect the whole scene and people's like regular life. So I'd say if people are in public and they're just doing their thing, you can sit there and film. But then if you want to like kind of get closer to them and talk to them, then you ask.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like I consider like public life is public, and in this day and age, like, everyone has cameras and everything. So if you get yelled at, it'll be a good story, but it'll be fine.
I also have a question in regards to photo media and even videos too. In some videos you have captions for the videos, or if you have a great photo, what's the best way to think of a good caption that captures the scene and like garners likes and interest in like the photo or what you posted.
Mm-hmm. Wait, let me understand that a little bit more. Like, tell me something you've seen, or tell me more what's behind that.
In that video we saw with the cardboard, I was kind of in and out with my connection, but from what I got for that, you had to write short sentences, quick facts, but they had to be powerful and informative at the same time. How do you phrase your sentences or your captions like that? How do you think of what's the thought process behind thinking of a good caption?
Yeah, it's a really good question. So I'd say don't ever underestimate your audience, right? And so make things that are challenging, and that is in terms of like what you put on that card. Make it if it's a stat, make it a really big number, or make it something that's really personal, really like bespoke. Cut out all the extra words. Just make it punchy. And I think the larger point is that like everyone's always kind of like in the attention economy, and people are going to be watching things really quickly. Imagine you're on Facebook, like that first like 5 seconds of a video really needs to grab you or your audience to make it interesting. So just like go big, and if you're going to do like a proper piece, like edit fast and make sure to like sort of transcribe and put what people are saying written out, because I think everyone watches videos with the sound off, and then you kind of like imagine like you're the audience, right? You're flicking through your like Facebook feed, you see an interesting foreign location, the video plays for like a couple seconds. It's really got to like sort of say like what it's about or grab your attention then. Specifically, like if we're talking into like transcribe it, if you're going to go like full on, in iMovie on your iPhone is a great program just to do stuff. That's like you can basically do all that like lettering and the editing just on your phone, or Premiere or Final Cut can do that too. But it's basically like just do good writing. Imagine that you're trying to put something interesting out there. It has to have like a hook or an angle or something that's not like boring. Basically, it should be something that's unexpected. Good question. Thank you. Samantha.
You pretty much answered my question. So.
Nailed it. Great.
Oh, okay. I had another, actually. How do you make, okay, I've given interviews before, and it's like on-the-spot interviews are really hard, I've found, to, like, generate, like, really genuine, like, good quality responses. Like, because if you don't have, like, a bond with someone, like, how do they, like, trust you to, like, give, like, the good answers and that sort of thing, that, like, what you're looking for? And so, like, a lot of times I've, like, ended up with, like, stuff that's like, oh, it doesn't like really hit home like what I'm trying to say, and so it's like, how do you like work with like you have a lot of material, but like how do you like adapt to like what you have, I guess, or like how do you like get the not like the answers you're looking for, but like how do you get that like good stuff without like
Yeah, that's a great question. Um, uh, just to get back to your point, which relates to this, is that people love to be on camera, or they at least love to be asked, and so it's a great compliment. Maybe some people get shy, but to say like, "Oh, I want to talk to you," like I'm a foreign person, I'm picking you out of a crowd, that is great. However, to your point, Samantha, people can kind of freeze up. Maybe they've never done an interview before. So I think the hack to that is get them to relax. And so if you're planning like your interview questions, you don't start like your first question is not tell me about your programs in the slums and how you use economic development. Blah. Don't like go into something really heavy. Just like start the camera. Don't even really tell them, and just ask some total softball questions. Like maybe two things like, tell me about how did you get into this line of work, or like how is your wife and family or husband, or like what's like the most interesting food in this country that I should try. Just like be something that you'll probably never use, but you never know. But it's like a throwaway and just gets people loose, because eventually they'll forget about the camera and just becomes background. Does that make sense? Yeah. So yeah, just keep it rolling, basically. Cool.
Hey, Ryan, how has this changed? I was just thinking about, I actually think you did the first one of these for us 4 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And we were using flip cameras.
Yeah.
And, people had their digital camera and their smartphones, if they even had smartphones at that time, were just nowhere near what they are today. So with these guys, they're all going to go to Tajikistan and Indonesia, Morocco. I don't think we have anybody from Zanzibar on this one, but they're going to have their smartphones. Maybe they have a bigger camera, but like how has this become easier, or are there new challenges with people just walking around with smartphones that have the same capacity as the nicest camera 5 years ago?
Yeah, that's a great question. It is crazy to think. I think it was 4 years ago, and like now, like flip cameras seem like it's like a reel-to-reel, old-school kind of a thing because they're so antiquated. But basically, it's so much easier now. Like making expressive, interesting video and storytelling media is so much easier because phones are amazing. The video quality is awesome. All audio quality is like passable, and there's so many tools. There's like a dizzying number of various like editing kind of things, filming stuff. You can use like you can compress time or extend time. There's like a million different things you can use. It's basically a lot easier, and so that's why I was like recommending. I would just basically use your phone and use apps on your phone, and then if you want to do more extensive editing on your laptop, then use Premiere. That's basically my jam. So I had a filmmaker friend over yesterday. He was filming some interviews and doing some stuff. It was like a professional shoot, and his like fancy SLR camera kind of seized up and stopped working. So he just switched immediately and used his phone for the rest of the day. And he was like, I'm just doing this solely from now on. It's like the hardware and software on the phone is amazing, and so that's kind of what I use basically. And I think for the purposes of what you guys are doing, you don't need like a big SLR with a big lens. For photography, it looks better for sure. But even if you can get like the little clip-on lenses for your phone, get like a wide angle and a macro. Like for like $30, you can get like a set of 3. Just do that because it takes like that sort of like standard. You're looking like a 35 millimeter frame on your phone, and you can just like blow it out and make it really wide and get everything, or do like a macro, so you can get like little surfaces of like food and plants and things like that. It's basically like an iPhone and a couple lenses and a couple programs, and you're good to go. The things that I would have Vine. There's and Magisto and iMovie. And if you have other resources, then I would like to know about them too. I think those are the things that will sort of get you through. Yeah, that's what I recommend.
This might be a stupid question, but like, what do you think about GoPro? Do you think it's like worth it to bring, or like those? I feel like those videos always end up like looking really awesome.
Yeah.
But
one of the reasons why they look awesome is because they're wide angle.
Yeah.
So like it's fisheye, and so just get a fisheye lens for your phone, and you kind of get that same effect. Like there's nothing magic about the GoPro. And they're definitely like nice and awesome and really versatile, and you can like attach them to things and kind of not care as much. But then you have to I guess the footage kind of automatically loads in your computer, and so that's good. And so then you can edit it, but I don't think there's nothing incredibly special. If you have one, then that's fine, but I wouldn't like obsess around the hardware necessarily. That's good to know. And you can do like more advanced stuff like time lapse, but you can also do that with your phone too. Ben, like what's these guys might know this already, but obviously they're in the field and they're shooting stuff and posting it, and then do you use that for like to tell like future people about like, the places that they're going, or for AUA, or like are you gonna do these guys have like an assignment or structure around it, or is it sort of willy-nilly?
It's a mix. Nothing's willy-nilly. They have their own personal placements where some of them are going to be in NGOs, and there's a couple of placements where they, like Sammy in particular, is going to be working on a final report for a project with female and youth entrepreneurs, and going to create a short video for her NGO. And then there's also their own storytelling component, that everybody has a blogging requirement or commitment, and that goes back to our mission. And so some people who are really strong writers like to write essays, other people do photo essays, other people do short videos as part of their blogs, and so we try to keep it flexible because we're centered on the mission or on the message rather than on the specific medium. But we're trying to get out that specific mission to different groups of people.
Yeah, interesting. And so have you guys read through that, and do you have thoughts around like, oh well, I'm going to use like this format or this tool for this particular part of it? Obviously, you guys are dealing with a lot of just like mechanics of closing up your life and getting there and things like that. But if you have questions, then this is a good time to ask.
Ryan, I should also tell you that in this group we have people like Aubrey and Sammy and Miranda who are departing next week, and then we also have folks like Paula and Isabel and Grace, who they just got all their information earlier this evening, and they're not going to be departing until July. So this is actually their first AUA webinar that they're joining as part of our skill building series. So I think maybe some of our crowd might have a little bit more developed in terms of ideas that they want to convey through storytelling, and then the other part of the crowd is just beginning to think about this in a little more structured way about, you're raising new ideas for them.
Right. Okay, great. And then what's like the high watermark, like, or like a great model, like something that you've seen, Ben, that like that something that someone has made, and then you, like, when you go to lecture and you go to universities, that you show that, and sort of like, why is that effective?
You know, the best one that I've seen someone do, and it's all personal preference, right? We had a volunteer go around to sober houses in Zanzibar where they were doing HIV testing, and she totally got out of the way and just asked several basic questions with, you know, just a close-up on the person that she was talking to about, like, what happens at a sober house, you know, what are people expecting to get here, and the way it was shot, like, there was enough background where you could see what it looked like and what it felt like there, but just hearing people describe in their own words the situation, just very basic interview, I found that to be very powerful. I guess I would ask you the opposite question, though, Ryan, and maybe folks will be interested in this, is what do you think are the common mistakes that people make as they're getting started in this? Like, you know, it's great to look at some of the positive examples, and people can check that out later, but how do you avoid shaky hand and, you know, long-running you know, scenery that just goes on forever? Like, what are some of the things that you would caution people to avoid?
Yeah, that's a great question.
I hope we didn't lose Ryan.
Seems like we did.
Let's give him a minute to come back. Isabel, Grace, you guys are quiet. What's on your minds?
I don't really know. I guess I don't really have an idea yet of what I'd be filming. I think I could get some really good interviews from the kids that I'll be teaching, which will be really interesting, and also the teachers and that kind of thing. But like, would I be posting this to like Facebook or like YouTube, or like how would I be sharing it, I guess is my
I think that'd be up to you. I mean, like, there's things that you can do in terms of, like, what I was just describing of, you know, interviews with your students or other teachers, and you're asking, you know, one technique that I've heard Ryan talk about in the past is asking the same question to like 15 different people, and then, you know, cutting that all together. And like, he used the example of the Donald Trump question in terms of what do you think about what Donald Trump is saying, and then having cut of what the response is. I mean, that's a pretty charged topic. You could very easily shift it to, like, you know, what do you want to be when you grow up if you're working with young kids, and it gives you like a window into people's imagination and aspirations. And that's the kind of thing you could put together as like a photo essay or a video essay that, you know, we would put on our site, or we could help you try to get placed somewhere else depending upon you know, what the quality of it is.
Okay.
And we've already done this with the Tajikistan and Morocco groups, but we're gonna talk about target audience and who you want to share your experience with, and that'll help to answer that question.
Okay.
Isabel, what about you? What are your thoughts?
I'm not sure. I'm still kind of feeling my way around, I guess. I started reading the manual when it was sent out earlier this evening, but I don't know. I don't know.
That's fair. You have time.
Hi, I'm back.
Welcome back. We're
Thanks,
glad you're here.
My computer died.
So, Ryan, why don't the question
everything.
I put out there for you was about common mistakes at the beginning. So why don't, if you can, why don't you tackle that one, and then we'll wrap up. I see that we're already almost at 9 o'clock.
Yeah. I'd say there's like common mistakes are just not being bold, so having it be slow, being far away from your subject. Like if you're in people's face, if there's a lot of edits, if the content is challenging or interesting, you're gonna win. If it seems like a video that you feel like you've seen before, that is like the common mistake of just basically not trying to. You're bringing a new idea to the world, and so you guys will be in such unique locations where 99% of people, or especially your audience, have never been to. And so like, what is that? Take yourself back into that audience frame of mind and be like, what is that really unique thing there that you can bring them into that world? Shaky hands and being too far away, like that's all sort of the mechanics of it. But just like if the content's interesting, if it's something that's new or different that is endemic to that place, that is like going to grab attention, then that's good.
Okay, so Ryan, I really appreciate you keeping the string alive here and sharing what you have with another group of outgoing unofficial ambassadors. It's great. And if you guys take a look at Ryan's deck, there's a bunch of resources there in the back of places where you can go and look for other information. And Ryan's kind enough to put his email in there as well, and I know that he's always happy to hear from people who have questions. So on behalf of all of us, Ryan, thanks for doing this with us this evening and for sharing all these great resources and your own experience. And for Grace and Paula and Isabel, I'm really excited that this is the first time you're joining us for one of these skill building webinars, and looking forward to welcoming you into other parts of the program over the next several weeks as you guys get ready to go. And for Aubrey and Miranda and Samantha, it's coming up. I'm excited for you guys. We'll be in touch in the next few days before you guys all depart.
Yeah.
Thank you, guys.
And I'll just echo that, Ben. I'll say that my email is there. To this date, I think only 2 or 3 people have actually emailed me and asked me a question. It makes me very sad because I do this because I want to help, and I'd love to be in dialogue. And just imagine I'm like your filmmaking, pen pal. So be in touch and let me know how it goes. And best of luck.
Thanks, Ryan.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye, guys.
Bye.